Good morning, Monique, or good afternoon, Monique. How are you today?
Well, for me, it's evening. It's 8 o'clock here in Mexico. So I had a wonderful day. It was pretty hot again, and joining now you with on your podcast. So let's dive into it.
Oh, yeah. Life is wonderful, isn't it?
Oh, yeah, absolutely.
If we make it wonderful, it is wonderful.
I'm living my dream life.
Oh, that's great. Can you tell me your story? Because you've got a fascinating story.
Thank you. Well, where do I start? I mean, I can actually say that up until my 50s, and on my 50th year, the year when I went 50, I was in a divorce, and from that point on, I think I call it, I cracked emotionally open. So I remember that maybe I need to go back in that matter. I had a dream. It sounds like the former president of America, right?
Yeah.
But I truly had a dream. And it was actually with my ex-husband. And we met each other quite late in life, I would say. I mean, I was 43. And we were both fascinated about French Polynesia. And that was, and travel, of course. And we start talking about it. And then at one time he said, well, I'm planning to go to Latin America. Okay. And I remember that back then, I also had a corporate job besides my business. And I remember that I told my colleagues, I met a guy, and he's quite cute. And he asked me to come with him to Latin America, to Costa Rica. And everybody went, wow, that's far, and that's international. And I was like, yeah. And,
because you're from the Netherlands, right?
I am from the Netherlands, yeah. So everybody was like, wow, Latin America, Costa Rica. I've never been to Costa Rica. And, and I remember that we were talking about, because we were agreeing on the fact that we wanted to immigrate. So we had this French Polynesia thing and immigrating. And so we went to Costa Rica a few months later, and we went for a month, which was quite long for me, because I was like, well, how long are you want to go? And he said, 4 weeks. And I was like, 4 weeks? I never was before like 4 weeks on vacation. And I was like, okay, well, let's do it. And after that, I was hooked, because 4 weeks was even less for the future, right? So, but that was my first stretch, actually. Yes. And the funny thing was, I was always the adventurous one when I had a relationship. And now I felt like, well, this guy is more adventurous than I am, right?
Yes.
Yeah, so I was like, well, that's a great match. And so we went to Costa Rica, and wow, I mean, if you've ever been to Costa Rica, I mean, it's
No.
very diverse, really beautiful. It's like a big zoo, and everything is XXL. I mean, you have like big iguanas, you have like big insects, like the morpho. How do you say it? I cannot find the word. No, butterfly.
Oh, butterflies.
Yeah, so really, really big butterflies, but also like grasshoppers, right? Like really like this size.
Oh, goodness.
Very, very hard green, you know, but beautiful to see. But yeah, I mean, in the Netherlands, they are like here, like this size, right? And there they're like this size. And I was like, whoa, that's a huge one, right? Anyway, no, but you had so many, and apes are walking through your garden, and it was really like a big zoo. Yeah, it was amazing. So I said to my then boyfriend, we weren't married yet. I said, "Wow, this is." I felt like Alice in Wonderland, because it was so beautiful, and so many colors, beautiful birds with orange and black, you know, and yellow, all really bright colors. And that was amazing. And you had like beaches and different kind of weather circumstances. So you had the hills, right? You had the Caribbean side, but you also had the Pacific side, and it was so diverse. Anyway, so back then I was just started studying my coaching practice, like education around it. I think I've studied for 10 years. I remember that, and I was working on my second last education in that matter. And I wanted to start my own practice in my home. And I remember that I think because we went 4 times to Costa Rica, and the first time was, well, we just met each other. It was a great way to know each other, right? Mm-hmm. And after the 3rd time, I already had a practice, but you know, I was thinking, sitting in a house and talking with people and doing assignments in a small house. I don't know. I mean, you can talk about a lot of things, but I was more like, I want to do something with people. And back then, retreats wasn't very common. Yes. And I remember that I get a download in Costa Rica, and I felt like I had goosebumps because of it. I was at a place, and I get an insight, like I need to do, I have to go with people into nature. Yes. Out of the blue, because, and I was like, what do I do with this, you know? Yes. So anyway, fast forward the moment, so we were like, well, Costa Rica could be the country we wanted to immigrate to. Yes. And so we went back another time. We did a seminar, how to live in Costa Rica. What can you expect? You know, the practical side, but also the culture side. And yeah, we were like, okay, we found the spot, you know, where we wanted to stay, and the plan was to rent first, and but until the plan was immigrate to 2020 in 2020, and it was then 2014, 2013.
Oh, so still 7 years out from.
Yes, yeah, absolutely. So, and I said, well, this gives me the time to make a bridge, like, you know, he was in sales, so he could help me with sales, and I would like lead the retreats in Costa Rica, and then build, like, from the Netherlands, ask people to come to Costa Rica on a retreat, right? That was the plan. That was the business plan.
Yes.
And okay, so we decided, okay, we need to make a real business plan, you know, and now we followed business coaching with Robert Kiyosaki, and yeah, we were working towards our dream. And actually, the moment we were like made a decision to aim for 2020 to immigrate, yeah, things started to erode, I would say. So I think we made a decision like in February, and in May he cheated on me. And in November we were divorced that year in 2015.
He sabotaged it.
Yes, yeah.
Yes.
And yeah, I mean, I just made the decision to quit my corporate job and to go full time as an entrepreneur, because I had and my corporate job and my business next to it.
Yes.
And yeah, there I was. You know, dreams were shattered because, yeah, we create them together, right? I was devastated emotionally.
So what did you do? How did you get over it?
Yeah, I mean, I was because I didn't see it coming. I was like, well, we have a dream together. Yes. And it seemed like it was only my dream, because I was ready to commit and to go for it.
Yeah, you were the adventurous one.
Yes, and but yeah, so I was devastated. I emotionally cracked open, and I felt defeated. But you know, I've noticed that I wasn't defeated. I was defeating myself. During like well, towards the in the marriage, it started more and more. I was a huge pleaser, and I was a workaholic. So for me, it was easier to work hard than to feel my feelings.
Yep.
And that was something that was my coping mechanism.
And
right?
probably face what was happening at the same time.
Exactly. But the thing was, the deeper layer was that I actually, the hard feelings I didn't want to feel had to do with actually, well, with my childhood. And as long as you don't address the primary emotions, you create secondary emotions, but the secondary emotions can stay for decades if you don't heal the primary emotion.
Yes, absolutely.
And it weighs on you, right? Yes. It was my third burnout. So I was exhausted, and because I worked my ass off the last 5 years in my marriage, in my business, and having a job, and having a social life, and having a marriage, you know.
Having it all.
Having it all.
Appearing to have it all.
Yes, on the outside it looked good, you know, the perfect couple, nice house, nice cars, you know.
Yeah, it's all appearance.
Yes, and you know, I remember that. Well, first of all, I was tired. I knew I couldn't live like this any longer because I didn't have the energy anymore.
Yeah.
So I had to start walking again. It was like recovery from childhood, actually. Yeah. And then all the pain from childhood, was like an eruption.
Yeah.
And I was like, well, I cannot deny it anymore. I need to face it, and I need to heal it, because all the years what I emotionally neglected, now I had to implement it. And for me, and I dare to say that if you don't implement your emotional neglect, you're never gonna feel happy.
Yeah, absolutely.
Never.
So many of us don't look back into our childhood and don't go back and do that early work.
Yes.
And therefore wonder why things are difficult further down the track.
Yeah. And it, you know, until you face it
and address it.
And address it and heal it, then you feel so much lighter. And you clean up the mess, actually. Yeah. And the more you clean up, the happier you become.
Exactly. But you've got to keep cleaning it up. It you can't do it in a day. You can't do it overnight. It takes a long time to get through it.
You need to go through, yes. You know, but the thing is, I remember, I mean, you can, as I call this your path, right? Because as soon as you start to get on your path, start to clean up, then you start to understand, okay, you start to understand how it works with your energy. You start to understand when it is aligned and when not. Yes. Right? When you have to protect your energy and when not.
Yes.
Right? So you navigate through life easier.
Yes.
In the beginning but you need to, and you cannot do it alone, unfortunately. Yeah. You need help. Yeah. You need help from a professional, because I always say this a lot of times, when you are in the jar, you don't see the label.
No.
Someone needs to give you feedback, and someone who understands the pattern, who has the knowledge, who lived it, in my opinion.
They need to hold you and support you at that time. Absolutely. Too.
Yes. And they have to hold the space for you, so that and a safe space, so that you can step into a new chapter, into a new space of energy. Right. And well, that's how I started walking again. But you know, I remember that I had a friend in my life at that moment, and she said to me, yeah, but okay, now your dream with him is shattered, but you can do it on your own. And I was like, on my own? How? I need my husband, or I need my partner to do it.
No, you don't.
But I was convinced that I not couldn't do it alone.
Yeah, yeah.
And I was freaking codependent, you know. So I had to take responsibility for me.
Yes.
And that's what I didn't want to take all the responsibility.
It all starts with you. That's the funny thing. We just don't realize that. It all starts with us. We allowed it to happen in the first place.
Yes. But, you know, so it was like coming together and having the dream together. And now I was like amputated with one piece. But that was actually the piece I needed to take on me in order to feel whole again. And to take the responsibility. And I was like, well, now you got to grow up, girl. You got to take the courage to speak my truth, first of all. That was very scary because as a pleaser, you don't want to take space, actually, right? And I had a lot of resistance in the beginning, and resistance is just fear, right? I feared to speak my truth, what I truly felt, being vulnerable, you know.
Yes.
Yeah, and because I remember that. At one point, I started to write a book, and it was also therapeutic for me, you know, to go through my whole life, you know, and heal it as well.
Yes.
And I remember because I was raped as a 6-year-old, that had a devastating impact also on my relationships.
It would.
Yes, because, you know, I trusted this guy and he abused me, right? So that had well, when I was young, nobody talked about it. You know, you silence it and you never talk about it and just go on with life, right? Forget about it and that's it. But that's not how it works, right? You
bury that. So you've got to deal with that. You've buried it. You're ashamed of it.
Yes.
You would never have wanted to admit it or tell anybody because it was a terrible secret which you were forced to keep closed.
Absolutely, you know, and it's not like, okay, let's talk about the trauma, right? That's not funny. That's not funny stuff, right?
Yeah.
But it was. I remember that I did a warrior camp, and of course, it was a safe space. And I was writing a book at that moment when I was in the warrior camp. It was a camp of 5 days. And I had a book coach at that time. And I said to her, I'm thinking about putting this experience because I can literally live it, how it went. I wrote it in the book, and I said to my coach, I'm not sure if I have to leave it in the book. And she said, well, if you leave it in the book, you cannot reverse it. And when it's out there, it's out there. But she said, you know, the thing is, if you dare to be vulnerable, people can relate to it. So, but you have to think about it, right? So, and I was like, well, you know, I don't know what to do. How can I cope with this? So I was at warrior camp, and at one time I had the opportunity to, although it were 500 people and it was still a safe space, I had the opportunity to share it with people. For me, it was like a pilot, you know, like put a little balloon up and see how people react. And that was for me like an experience for like, how would it feel when I put it or leave it in the book when it's published?
Yes.
You understand?
Yes.
So, and people after when I shared it were very warm. People said, well, I can relate. It happened to me too. You know, all that. And actually, I didn't expect that.
Do you know the really sad thing is a lot of the people that said that happened to me too have probably never said that to anybody else.
Exactly.
So you've actually given them permission by sharing it. You've actually given them permission to actually speak about their own experience.
Yes. Yeah. So for me, it was like, okay, I mean, I didn't publish the book yet because, I mean, writing it is one, but publishing is another one, right? I mean, it's not that simple. Okay, yeah. I mean, it's like grammar, you know, find someone, marketing around it.
Done it too, yeah.
A whole different chapter.
Yeah.
But for me, it was, I started to, because a lot of energy, weight was off my shoulder. Yes. When I could share it. Yes. And I always say to my coaching clients, when you get oxygen at your primary emotion, it's when it starts to heal, you feel so much lighter. You feel a lot of weight falls off your shoulder. So I always encourage people to do that.
Yes.
With help, of course. So I divorced. A year later, well, we divorced in November 2015. In 2016, we were officially divorced a year later. So I had to relocate. And I had to find a house to live in. And I always wanted to live nearby the beach. And so I found a studio in the Netherlands on the west coast, 4 kilometers from the beach. So I was happy, you know, it was a whole house. So I had the opportunity to design my kitchen, design my shower, you know. So I had some space to make it my own, and I made it a luxury studio, which was different than the other ones because they were ready when they bought it. Anyway, that house, after 4 years, made me financially free.
Oh, that's wonderful.
Yes. So in 2020, in the beginning, when I just moved to the new house and decorated it, and I was like, you know, maybe I need to stop thinking about entrepreneurial leadership. You know, maybe I just need to find a job, right? Because maybe this is not for me. Maybe this is the sign of the universe, you know. Monique, no, stop it. You know, find a job, you know, stay safe, right? And actually in the beginning, I didn't know what to do. Of course, it tickled, but I was like, well, you know, I don't know. I was doubting myself, you know.
Yep, I get it. Lost. You're lost. Yes. Totally lost.
Yeah, I was devastated. I mean, I didn't know what to do, and I was actually, although I tried to forgive him, and I did with many rituals, there was still something inside of me that I had resentment towards him, because he let me struggle, you know. Just 5 minutes before 12, he said bye, you know.
Yeah, I hear you. It is a constant struggle within you when you've been betrayed so badly that you're constantly doing forgiveness work. It doesn't just come easily, you know. And I still say, I've probably, my ex-husband, I've probably forgiven, 90%, but there's still that 10% at times when, I wake up in a dream and I think, oh, back at it again, Lorraine, back at it again.
Yes.
It's a constant work in process, progress.
But I must honestly say, I don't have zero. I have really 0%, but that didn't come easily.
Yeah.
Because in 2020, I was actually, and it was not before COVID, I was like, you know what? I'm going to pivot my business, and I'm going to start all over again. I'm going to start with a new brand.
Yep.
And I'm just start walking again.
Yep.
And that was February 2020. And COVID hit like 1 month later, like March 2020, right? And because I made a decision to be 100% entrepreneur, I bought a dog, and that's Spirit. Spirit is my Pomeranian dog, who I travel the world with in my nomadic life. And she, because of COVID, and she is born in Russia, because the color I wanted, they don't breed it in Western Europe, only in Eastern Europe. So I had to wait 3 months before she was able to fly, because puppies need to be 3 months or 16 weeks before they can fly. So I get Spirit in, I think, June, 2 years ago. And I think by the end of June, and 1 month later, I felt a lump in my breast. And I had breast cancer. It was a big lump. It was a 3.7 centimeters by 3.2 centimeters. And that was a wake-up call for me. Well, wake-up call as in, holy shit, excuse my language. This could be the end. Because I know a lot of women who don't make it, right?
Yes.
And I immediately knew, and I'm not sure if you are familiar with Louise Hay.
Yes.
And she wrote the book You Can Heal Your Life.
Yes.
Right?
Yes.
Yeah. So I knew that cancer is resentment and anger.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
Yeah. 5 years after the marriage had broken. Yeah, between 5 and 7 years. That's when the cancer hits. Yeah.
Yes. So, but it also hit me spiritually.
Yeah.
Because I was like, holy crap. I thought I did my work, but not enough.
Mm.
Well, because otherwise I wouldn't have the symptom, right?
Exactly.
And it was, yeah, I mean, I had long hair until my butt. Now I have short hair, but I lost all my hair. I was bald at one point. So they told me, you have cancer and you're gonna lose your hair in 3 weeks. So in 3 weeks, my life was upside down.
Mm.
And the outlook was also upside down. You know, I just started my new business, you know, I bought the dog, I had the dog, you know, and I was like, and I needed to create income. And yeah. Now what I was thinking, you know, what if this is the end? What the freaking, what am I freaking doing, right?
Mm.
But after 3 weeks, I was like, you know what? I'm going to surrender. I'm going to make friends with my body. I'm going to embrace what is coming on my path. And I know I can handle it. So that's how I went through the chemo. And I'm not sure if you are familiar with chemo or cancer, because if you get chemo, you go from 100% energy to 40% energy. So you need to make choices. So you can say, okay, are you going to use the energy to clean your house? Or are you going to use the energy to, well, survive this thing, what's called cancer? Are you going to use your energy for cooking and getting groceries, or are you going to clean your house?
Mm.
Well, the decision is easy, as you can imagine. But yeah, the house needs to be clean as well. So asking for help was the one thing I was very bad in. You know, as a pleaser, you do everything for everybody else, but you never ask a favor back.
And you're a woman too. Yep.
Yes, I didn't know how to even ask what kind of words I needed to use.
Yes, yes.
So, but what I found was my surrendering, like emotional surrendering, was the key to peace, to heal, to go through this horrible experience, physical experience, but also emotionally, because I've learned during this process, and that's why I bless this illness, that it came into my life, because it changed me so much. I've let go truly all the resentment in my life, what I had towards my ex, to all the people who hurt me, you know, even my raper, you know, because it's like, I mean, if you don't forgive, it's like giving someone else, or taking, no, how do I say? Me taking the poison and then say to someone else, forgive me, because you are poisoning yourself, nobody else.
Yes.
Only you. So letting go, and that was, well, and trusting my body again, listening to my body, also about food. You know, when I went shopping, groceries or went for groceries, my body said, well, I would like this, or, you know, or I would like that. And I bought it.
Yeah.
Because I was like, my body is my temple.
Yeah. Yeah.
And you need to treat it well with
Yeah.
good, healthy, clean food, right? So I did. And before I had my last chemo, I had 100% remission.
Oh, yay.
No cancer, finding nothing on the MRI. A month later, that was in February 2021, I had a month rest. In March, I had the operation because they always gonna check if it's truly gone, because sometimes the MRI and real life can differ a bit.
Yes.
And it was clean. My lymph were clean. There was no cancer anymore, so I was clean all over.
Fantastic.
So that was a happy flow for me. I never had this happy, and I was like, well, that's the key, you know, surrender. To surrender, to feel and understanding how to cope with your feelings, how to cope with resistance, how to cope with self-doubt, letting go of the resentment. That's what cancer brought me. But as you may know, after cancer, you need to, well, rejuvenate, you know, because you had a lot. I mean, chemo is
takes
the cancer, but it takes more than only the cancer, right?
Yes, yes.
So you need to find a way to balance with your energy, because in the beginning you don't have a lot of energy. And I was like, well, I had built structures in my life that I couldn't carry it, and I didn't want to carry anymore. And I think it was in April, I had my last radio therapy, the last appointment.
Yep.
Yeah. And I came back from the hospital and I celebrated life. I went to the bakery and bought a nice things for me, and I celebrated life. And something happened inside of me, like, you know, I got a second chance. I was so grateful and happy that I survived it and that I had a second chance. But now I was like, but now what? You know, what's the next step? And I didn't want to just work for my house and don't do anything else, you know, on the knock of costs and no room for other things in my life. Well, at one point, the real estate market was booming, and I called a real estate agent to ask about how much would my house receive, or for how much money I could get for my apartment. Well, I invited him, and he told me what I could get from my house, and I was amazed. And he said, well, this is the lowest price. If you're lucky, people will overbid it. And someone overbid even 35,000 euros.
Oh, that's nice.
Yes. So, and I remember it was after 2 days, my house was sold after 2 days in sale. And I remember that the real estate agent said, you know, let's go for this. Salute. Bless you. And I made the decision to sell my house and travel the world together with my dog and immigrate from the Netherlands. Actually, and now the funny stuff comes. So now I'm living my dream life, something I dreamed about in 2013.
But not in Costa Rica.
No, you know, the funny thing was, now I could go to Costa Rica, but I was like, well, Costa Rica alone is a little bit boring. I want to see more than only Costa Rica, you know, because I was like, yeah, I've been there 4 times. I wanted to travel the world. And here I am, living my dream life. And now I'm actually having a pilot at this moment. Become a dream person first to design your dream life, your real dream life, because I've noticed that you need to be first the person to receive the dream. If you cannot receive, and if you cannot organize your life and letting go of material stuff, it holds you back because you feel attached to materials. And, you know, for me, I was like, well, we are collecting items, we are collecting assets, we are collecting
Junk.
Junk, yeah. But of course, but you need so less. I mean, I have 37 kilos. That's my life. That's my all the stuff I have, right?
Mm-hmm.
And I can manage. I mean, I don't walk in the same dress every day.
Yeah.
I mean, I have enough variation, if you understand what I mean.
Yes, yes, yes.
And, you know, and you don't need a lot. And
Yeah.
even, I mean, if you're here in Costa Rica, in Mexico, you need a few flip-flops and some shorts and some dresses, and you're ready to go, right?
Yeah.
So, and I found that you can collect a lot of stuff, but as you know, in the end of the day, you cannot take anything with you, no material, no stuff, no money, nothing.
Mm-hmm.
It's maybe a different story when you have children, right?
Mm.
Because you can leave a legacy in whatever, in assets, in money, whatsoever. But even then, you are the one who, well, earned it, and you can, of course, you can help your children with assets or money. But I always like to challenge people and say, how much stuff do you really need? And how much is it holding you back from living your true potential, your true life, your true dream life? And that's actually where I help people with now. And of course, I get it. I mean, I feel that I feel the freedom, not only in a financial matter, but also in an emotional matter. And I get it. Not everyone need to become a digital nomad. You understand what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
But I always say to people, come for for a few months under my wings and learn how I think and learn how I do, because it will rub off on you, right?
Yeah, yep.
How to live your dream life.
Yeah.
Because I've noticed that a lot of people are stuck in ways that is not necessary. But yeah, you need to have feedback from someone who is already free in that matter. You understand what I'm saying?
Yes, yes, I do. I hear you.
Yeah, yeah.
And
so yeah, and now I am here. I mean, I started in Europe because of COVID. I couldn't fly internationally at that point. So I went to Spain in Valencia first. After that, in Athens 3 months, and now I am here in Mexico for 6 months until the end of September.
Oh, wonderful!
Yeah,
wonderful.
It could be worse, right?
Yeah. So, do you have any idea where you'll end up settling?
No, not yet. The plan is I like Mexico a lot, so it might be Mexico, but I'm not pointing it out yet because after I leave here, I'm going to Guatemala, and then I come back to Mexico again for another 4 or 5 months. The plan is to go to visit my mom and my brother in the Netherlands. Come here. My little doggy is asking for come here for attention.
You'll have to come to Bali. Have a look at Bali.
Well, I've been to Bali, and the plan is after the Netherlands, I am planning to go to Asia. But in the first time, I will first go to Thailand, Cambodia, and Vietnam. I'm not sure if I will choose the Philippines, because there is no airline that can carry Spirit in the cabin, and I'm not willing to leave her in cargo in that matter. So yeah, that's the plan, but I'm not making a decision. I think I'm going to at least, well, that's how I feel, like minimum 3-4 years only traveling from country to country.
Yeah. Oh, wonderful.
Yeah.
Wonderful.
Yeah,
that's sensational. And you have lived an amazing life and just inspired an awful lot of people. I can certainly tell that.
Yeah, that's, I mean, you know, I don't have to work. I choose to work because I'm on a mission to normalize happiness on the planet even. You know, and I'm not, I don't want to the people I touch who work with me will cascade what I teach to others again, you know. Yes. So it will spread, and yeah, I'm hoping to contribute to the world in that matter. Come here.
Amazing. That's amazing. Thank you, Monique. You have been an absolute wealth of information, and I know you would have inspired so many women who would just been touched by your whole story. And got.
Well, I hope so. Yeah.
Yeah. No, thank you very much for speaking to our listeners.
Well, thank you for having me.
And yeah, no, thank you. Oh, I hope you enjoyed that. Wow, what an amazing woman. Honestly, what she's been through, what she's overcome and going through cancer. It's just an amazing thing. So thank you for listening to this week's episode of Wow, Love, Light, Inspire, the podcast, especially for women like you, by inspirational women like Monique. I hope you got something from the episode. Look, I enjoyed it and I got heaps from it, so I'm sure everyone else did as well. Now, new episodes are released every Friday, so if you enjoyed it, please share it with your friends so more and more people can hear this podcast. And subscribe so you never miss another episode. Leave us a review. We'd really love that. And a really good rating would be really good as well. Now, you can find us and follow us on Facebook, Instagram, or you can go to the website www.lovelighinspire.com. Thank you to my producer, Nissa, who's put this together for you, and all the guests over all of the podcasts who've given their time and shared their knowledge and experience with you. And please remember that the information spoken about today is just general information. It's not specifically about you and your situation. So if you need some help, please consult with an expert or get professional advice. This is Lorraine Roberts. Thank you.